I think we're getting our routine down pretty good. So I have my folded chair, blocks, a bath towel, a blanket of some sort. I am still going to work on a little bit of our neck and shoulder stuff. So if you do have a yoga strap, that would be ideal, but not necessary. A scarf will do, so you can get that nice big stretch. You can also take a bath towel, fold it lengthwise, roll it up from there, and have something like this, okay? But we'll use that more towards the end of our class. So happy Easter to you all. So happy to have you all here today. Good job staying with your routine, and I hope you all are doing great. So I will ask that we mute our microphones, and thank you. I guess it flips around if we make sound, so I'm not quite sure how all that works, but that's what we'll do. So let's see what else I got here. I have a pillow from the bed, a smaller pillow. If you have yoga blocks, you can grab those. And we'll start in that position we've been starting our classes in, which is a gentle heart opener. It's a nice way to alleviate tension in the neck and shoulders, improves our posture. So take a pillow towards the end of your mat if you'd like to have a little lift for underneath your legs. Take your blanket. Hopefully you have a throw blanket that you can use. And we want to start it within a longer rectangular shape. And then you'll just roll it on up so that you have a nice longer Tootsie Roll. This can also be done with a larger beach towel. So if you want to use a towel of some sort or just anything that can elevate the chest. And I want your roll to hit you below, just at the tips of the shoulder blades. So we're not putting it in our low back, and we're not putting our shoulder blades on top of the roll. Instead, I want your shoulders to fall off the roll back down to the ground. So the roll will go more towards the top of your mat, leaving space for your shoulders and your head. And when we come down onto that roll, again, your low back should be lengthening towards and resting the ground. The roll will prop up just the bottoms of the shoulder blades. And now I'm letting my shoulders fall all the way back down to the ground. Back of the head is to the floor. And we'll cactus our arms. So you'll bend at your elbows 90 degrees. Your upper arm bone should be above that roll. And allow the backs of your hands then to flop towards the ground. Now for some of us, the backs of the hands won't easily touch the ground because we're tight through our chest and our shoulders. So either just let gravity traction your hands out. If you feel like you need to put a support behind the backs of the hands, you could put 2 books underneath your hands or somewhat folded up washcloths or pillows. As far as your legs are concerned, for my low back people, you'll keep your knees bent up towards the ceiling, tucking a pillow behind the creases of the knees. Feels nice. The knees come together. Those of you that want to move to Baddha Konasana and add a hip opener to this, soles of the feet come together, the knees fall open and wide. Or simply stretch your legs out into your Shavasana and let your feet flop open. And this is actually one of my favorite postures. Just feels so nice to get that stretch through the chest, allowing the weight of the shoulders, elbows, and hands to flop to the ground. Find the very back center of your skull here. Move and adjust your ponytails if you have them. Loosen up your clothing, make all your adjustments in your body and your space. So it's important to take the time in our practice to move into our poses, to move out of our poses. Remembering that our whole practice can eventually become a moving meditation. Once you're comfortable, closing the eyes and starting to redirect our attention inward this morning. So start to scan the body from the crown of the head all the way down to those fingertips and toes. Start to feel the weight of the body relax on the ground here, letting go of any tension and tightness we might discover. So softening all those muscles across the face, poof the cheeks, wiggle out the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Notice that lift and that stretch through the front of the chest and the heart. This pose also helps improve our breathing as it stretches those muscles so we can take bigger, fuller breaths around our rib cage. Relax the lower back towards the ground. Relax the hips and the hip sockets. And all the way down our legs into the ankles, feet, and toes. As we're taking some inventory and reconnecting to our physical body here, if we happen to come across any areas that need a little extra TLC today, let's pause on those areas for a moment. Send a healing breath into them. And on the exhale, we allow those areas to relax as well. Remembering that we practice without judgment, bringing in a quality of santosha or contentment. Being content and accepting of who, what, and where we are today on our yoga mat. Continue to let the whole body relax, and we'll start to spread our awareness now to the rhythm of the breath. Simply observe and watch your body breathe in. And observe and watch the body breathe out. Notice how the body naturally expands as it fills itself up with fresh air, prana, and energy. And notice how the body naturally contracts as it exhales away stale old air and energy. And now moving this breath a little bit more deeply into the body. We've also been practicing this pranayama in my classes. It's a 3-part breath. So on our next inhalation, start with the abdomen. Let your belly expand like a balloon. Continue to fill into the rib cage. The chest lifts a little higher, all the way up into the throat. And on our next exhale, you'll empty from top to bottom. So soften the throat, soften the chest, let the belly drop back down into the body. The inhale, we start at the bottom, let the belly expand, fill into the rib cage, the chest rises, all the way to the brim in the throat. On the exhales, empty and squeeze everything out like a tube of toothpaste. Soften the throat, the chest, the belly draws into the body to push all that air back out. Rolling this breath like a wave in and out as smoothly and evenly through the nose as you can. If you have Ujjayi Pranayama in your practice, the gentle contraction in the base and back of the throat, feel free to add that element as well. Sometimes called the ocean-like breath because it creates a soft whispering sound like the sound of listening to the inside of a seashell. Ujjayi helps slow the breathing down so we can take longer, deeper breaths. It creates that rhythmic noise that helps center and control the mind. Let's all try to cycle through one more round at your own rhythm and pace. We can allow this next breath to be our biggest breath of our morning yet. So on that next inhale, take your time to expand and fill, breathing as much fresh air as possible into your body. We can also breathe in a positive affirmation, dedication, or mantra for our practice today. And same with the exhale, let this be your biggest breath out of your morning yet. And on our next exhale, squeezing and letting go of the breath completely. Empty, empty every last drop that you can. At the bottom of that exhale, we'll let go of trying to follow and control the breath for a moment so it can wander away wherever it wants to go. Start to feel and notice the body again, relaxing on the floor. And then we'll start to wake our body back up, wiggling the toes, the fingertips. Give the head a little rock side to side. If your knees are still open wide in Baddha Konasana, float your knees up, and let's all extend our legs out into Shavasana. And then slide your arms overhead as far as you can, reaching and extending and stretching the whole body in a nice long body stretch. Point and flex your feet, spread your fingers and your toes, stretch your right heel a little further away from you, stretch your left heel a little further away from you. Stretch and lengthen your right side, stretch and lengthen your left side. And then everything together, one more big breath in. On the exhale, walk your feet in. Your right arm can stay where it is. You'll roll over to your right side and then press down into the ground just enough to slide your props out of the way. We will lie right back down on our mat, on our back, once we move our goodies out from underneath us. So find yourself back down on the mat, readjust, loosen things up, walk your feet in towards your sit bones so that the feet are parallel to each other, toes pointing straight forward. Have a few inches between your feet and your knees. Those of you that have yoga blocks or a prop, we can place that between our thighs. Draw your shoulder blades down and under the back. Keep your head in neutral. Arms are down beside you. Flowing bridge pose, reconnecting to our breath to warm the hips here. So squeeze the buttocks. As you inhale, lift those hips up to stretch the front of the hips. On our exhale, we'll lower back down to the ground. So we'll all move at our own pace, whatever our breath dictates. The inhale, engage your back side to stretch the whole front side. Let the chest move towards the chin. All the weight goes into the shoulders and not the neck. And then when you exhale, you just lower back down to the ground. And as those muscles start to warm, you might be able to go a little bit higher in your pose. Make sure you're keeping your alignment, knees pointing towards those toes. Those of us that want to add the shoulder massage, the next time you inhale and lift your hips up, float your arms up and overhead. And when you exhale, lower your hips, your arms float back down beside you. So you're rolling across that upper back, helping to massage those muscles between the shoulder blades. Let's all take one more flowing bridge pose. We'll meet on our exhale, lowering the body back down. Remove your prop. Draw the belly in to hug the knees in. Little back massage side to side. Bring the knees to neutral, extending both legs up towards the ceiling in our gentle inversion waterfall pose. Hold behind your thighs, point and flex your feet. Vigorously massage those muscles up and down, getting our legs a nice big stretch first thing. And also this inversion, really healthy for our circulation, for our vital organs, our heart, bringing the energy and blood flow towards the upper half of the body. And if you've been doing more walking than normal, running, whatever it is, this is a great pose to help alleviate stress and tension in the joints of the legs, so the knees and the ankles and the feet. Now let's open it up, Supta Konasana. Legs are gonna open up into a V here. Elbows to the ground, hold the weight of your legs from the outside, roll your ankles a few times. If you want a bigger stretch, move your hands to the inner thighs, massage those muscles, and let gravity really stretch out those inner thighs and growing muscles here. Keeping the back grounded. Big breath in. On the exhale, squeeze those legs back up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees. Draw your nose towards the knees to stretch out the upper back. And then we'll bring the head down to the ground, the right arm beside the head, and pause on the right side as you roll over into your fetal position, sleeping baby pose for a moment. And then press down to the ground, extend the top leg to help the body come up, and we'll bring ourselves up to our seat. So I've been repeating our spinal movements. We should do these movements every day. So as we're getting more accustomed to these, it's a nice thing to just make part of your daily routine. So find some support to sit on, whether that's a cushion, a pillow, or the edge of a chair. You're welcome to always use a chair and sit up on that. Take a comfortable seat in your legs. Sukhasana, sitting cross-legged or heel to heel, and then find your sit bones. So we pull the flesh out of the way so that we're really propped up nice and tall on the bony part of our bottom. Lift and lengthen through the front of your spine as much as you're stretching up through the back of your spine, floating ears over shoulders and shoulders over hips. Reach your arms up beside you, palms up. Let's all take a nice big breath in and reach those arms up to the ceiling. Turn your palms back out and exhale, float your fingertips to the floor. Chin may drop towards the chest to stretch out the root of the neck, but keep your chest lifted up. Inhale, float it up, big breath in. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, reach those arms up. Bring your palms together, and as you exhale, lower your hands in front of your heart. Interweave all 10 fingers, so nice strong grip in your hands. Flip your palms forward on the exhale. Now draw the belly and the chest in to stretch out your back. Round your spine, looking down. Inhale, tip your pelvis forward. Float those upper arm bones beside your ears. Big stretch for the back and shoulders. Exhale, scoop, tuck, and round. Inhale, sit up as tall as possible as you draw those upper arm bones back. Seated cat-cow. One more with your breath. We'll meet on the inhale. Arms back up overhead. Open those hands up. As you exhale, float your fingertips back down to the ground. Give me a nice big shoulder roll. Those of us sitting cross-legged, switch up the cross of your legs. Opposite foot in front. So keep your fingertips extended down towards the ground. We'll go into our lateral extension. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the side bodies today. That also help relieve tension around more of the shoulder blades. Inhale, right arm up beside the ear. Sit bones rooted, lower bandhas pulling in. Exhale, take it over to your left. The inhale is going to pull us back up out of the pose today. Switch hands. Keep your sit bones rooted. As you exhale, you'll lean it to the right. So keep going side to side here with your breath. I often like to do a little bit more flowing movements in the morning, again, to get our circulation flowing and to help loosen up our muscles before we hold longer postures. Little bit change in the pose. Drishti down to the bottom hand. We'll stretch a little bit more the back of the neck and shoulder. Or drishti up to the top hand. We'll stretch a little bit more through the front of the chest and shoulder. So we'll take it one more time over to our left and one more time over to your right. After we finish our right side, we'll meet back in the middle, both arms reaching straight up towards the ceiling. Keep this length all the way up through the crown of the head. Active twisting. So on our exhale, rotate to your right. The fingertips can reach behind you and towards the opposite knee. The head and the eyeballs can turn into the twist. The inhale pulls us back up to center. Exhale, ring and twist everything out to your left. Keep the spine long and tall, stretch out your eyes. One more time to each side. The inhale lifts and lengthens. Exhale, rotate, rotate, rotate. Big breath in and up. And one more time to our left, ring everything out. Inhale, reach it back up to center. Palms touch. Exhale to our center. All right, y'all, let's move to our tabletop. So organize yourself. You can walk forward or give your legs a stretch, and we'll rearrange ourselves on our mats or the ground. Take extra cushion if you'd like for your knees. Fingers spread wide, wide, wide. Hands have to be as broad as your shoulders, if not even slightly wider. And point your pointer fingers straight forward. We are rooting down through the mound of the index finger and thumb. Push into the ground so that the muscles are doing some of the work. Roll those shoulders down the back. A little bit of space between your knees and feet so they're in alignment with your hip sockets. Keep the gaze slightly forward so the neck stays long. Now activate a little bit through the core to help stabilize your low back and your hips and give your right foot a stretch back behind you. So that you're bringing the ball of the foot to the floor and just stretching through that heel, stretching out the back of the leg. Bring the right knee down, stretch your left foot back. Pressing back through that heel as much as you want. Keep your hips level, the weight evenly in the hands. Now bring the left knee down. Re-extend your right leg from the hip. This time float the right leg up parallel to the floor. The toes are pointing straight down to the ground, more core. Reach your left arm forward, palm in, thumb up. Spinal integration, a balancing pose. The breath is flowing smoothly in and out through the nose. Big breath in. Exhale, tabletop. Stretch that left leg back. Squeeze to lift the left leg parallel to the floor. Really activate that left foot. Right arm reaches forward, palm in, thumb up. Hold and breathe. You feel a little weeble wobbly, that's normal. It is a balancing pose, so just really try to strengthen and tighten around the abdominal muscles to help support the body. Big breath in. On the exhale, bring your hand and your knee down. Fingertips, Hasta Bandha anytime, rounding through the knuckles and driving the fingertips to the floor, or your strong punching fist into the ground anytime your joints are stacked to alleviate pressure on the wrists. We'll take a couple rounds of our cat-cow. The inhale is a back bend, lengthening the spine. The exhale is a scooping, tucking, and rounding of the back, drawing the belly in. Again, let your breath guide you in and out of this pose. And really feel like you're breathing up and down the length of your whole back. Coming to neutral, we'll come off the hands completely and visit our first child's pose. Wide knee child's pose, great option with the toes touching. Sinking hips to heels, relaxing belly, heart, and head to the floor. Hands as wide as your mat, especially if you have tension in your shoulders. Now, if the head doesn't easily touch the ground, place your hands or a prop underneath the forehead. Those of you that take care of your knees, a rolled towel behind the crease of your knees works, or just keep your hips elevated and be in more of a puppy pose, resting on your forearms. So this pose does stretch out the lumbar spine, stretches through the hips. It's a nice way to just ground the mind, keeping ourselves centered here and grounded. On the inhale, float the head up, extend your arms back out if they're underneath the head. We'll walk our hands off to the right-hand side of your mat, simultaneously pull your left hip back down. So we're stretching the whole left side of our body. A little bit bigger of a stretch, place your left hand on top of your right hand. Your shoulders should be pretty level to the floor and your head stays between your upper arm bones. Inhale, walk back to center. And then exhale, walk your hands off to the left-hand side of your mat. You're pulling your right hip back down, so you're stretching your whole right side. A little bit bigger of a stretch, place your right hand on your left hand. And then inhale back to center. Float your body back up to tabletop. Realign the body with the knees. Stretch your legs back one at a time here to get the blood flowing through the knees. And then let's walk our hands one hand's distance forward so the arm bones are more 45 degrees. Toes tuck under, round that low belly in, and lifting our hips up, back, and down. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So your options here always to come back down to tabletop or child's pose. So down dog is a gentle inversion. Pedal those heels one heel at a time to stretch out the backs of the legs. Fingers are still spread nice and wide, rooting through the mount of the index finger and thumb. Externally rotate your upper arm bones away from your ears. You're drawing those shoulder blades down the back. Pull your front body to back body, shifting your weight back and down the backs of the legs. Tight hamstrings and low back, bend the knees more deeply. Doesn't matter if the heels touch the ground. And just let your head float between those upper arms. Let's all take one more nice deep breath here, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then the inhale looks forward. Baby step your feet to your hands, hands to your feet, Uttanasana, forward fold. Again, if you're modifying for your low back, keep your knees deeply bent, or even place your upper body, the weight of your elbows on your thighs, so the back isn't getting too deep of a stretch. Otherwise, stretch your legs straight as possible, dangle your head and arms, or take a hold of opposite elbows. Prancing the legs a little bit one at a time will also give you a little deeper stretch, a little bend at one knee at a time. And allowing the weight of the head, the shoulders, and the weight of the world to melt off the upper half of the body here. A little bit of back strengthening. We'll do a few rounds of our halfway lifts. Depending where you are in your forward fold, the inhale brings the hands to the shins. You lift the heart and squeeze the upper back. So I really want you to iron and flatten out your back. And then when you exhale, you fold it back down. Inhale, lifts and squeezes the upper back. Concentrate on the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower. If you want a little bit more, inhale, halfway lift and locust your arms beside you. Palms are facing in, so I'm pretending like I'm squeezing a beach ball behind me. And then exhale, fold. Let's do one more. Inhale, halfway lift, big squeeze. Exhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Your arms will float forward and up. Shrug your shoulders away from those ears. Feet parallel, nice active feet. Knees directed directly towards the center of the feet and those toes. Draw your hands back to front and front of the heart here. And then let's start to get into some of our balance. So I want you to try to squeeze and lift your right foot from the floor. A little hover here. Really engage through the core. Good. Let's try the other foot. Lift, hover, and hold. Bring both feet back down to the ground. Sink a little lower down. On our inhale, release your arms down. Draw a big circle. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Straighten your legs. Reach your arms all the way overhead. Extended mountain pose. Bring your palms to touch and exhale, hands to heart. So we'll do a little bit more balance work right now. Make sure you have a safe space around you. and maybe readjust yourself if needed. Keep the feet hips width apart. If you want more of a challenge, try to bring the insides of the feet and legs to touch. On the inhale, re-extend those arms out and up, lifting the heels up this time, tippy toes. And then exhale, try to gracefully lower back down. We'll do several of these. Inhale, reaching up, tippy toes. And then exhale, lower the heels and the hands to the heart. Remember our gaze nice and focused. Let's all try one more palm tree pose. Just like a tree growing, reaching nice and tall up towards the sky. Exhale, go ahead and bring it back down. From here, interweave all 10 fingers again. Flip your palms forward and bring the arms back overhead. So any kids, let me come, you're standing, nice strong legs. Hands look like this, yeah. So in your standing pose, draw the belly in nice and strong. A variation of Ardha Chandrasana or half moon, again, to stretch the side body. As you exhale, lean to your right, your hips can shift a little bit to your left. And you're moving in this lateral plane, so the head is a natural extension of the spine. The throat should be open. The inhale pulls you back up. On your exhale, lean it over to your left. Your hips can move to the right. Inhale back up. We'll try that one more time each side. So you're exhaling into this crescent moon shape. Good. Inhale up. And one more time over to your left. Big, big stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release your arms down. Big shoulder roll. Loosey-goosey those arms. Noodle them around. So let's go ahead, since we just got our shoulders a little bit more warmed up, grab your yoga strap or your scarf or your towel, whatever you'll be using today for our big shoulder stretches. So you'll want to start with a pretty wide grip. We can narrow this grip depending on the flexibility in our shoulders. So if you've been coming to my class, we've done this one a couple times. We'll often have one shoulder that's able to do a little bit more than the other. Do not force this. As soon as one shoulder says that's far enough, that's where you stop, okay? So it's a great pose to do for our neck and shoulders, but we don't ever want to force or push ourselves in our pose. We shouldn't be grunting and moaning in our practice. We want to practice our Sarada Sukham Asanam, pleasant and steady. So nice strong grip, keep tension on the belt. On the inhale, start to reach the strap overhead. And on your exhale, bring it back down. So we'll keep going. But just because we're concentrating here, don't forget about the lower half of the body. Your legs should be in Tadasana. So active feet, quadriceps engaged. Mula Bandha can be active, so the pelvic floor muscles can be lifting in and up, as well as Uddiyana Bandha in the lower belly. So don't just thrust your rib cage forward here. Really keep your upper buttocks rooting down towards the ground. As those muscles start to warm, some of us might be able to come all the way back and down behind us. And then inhale, roll it all the way back and up and overhead. So you just gotta really pay attention to what feels best for your shoulders here. Let's all do one more, whatever variation you're choosing. On the inhale, next time we bring the strap up, we're gonna hold here. So now the strap is right above my head. And kind of just like Ardha Chandrasana that we did, we'll repeat that pose again, but different variations. So tension on your belt. The exhale, we'll lean it over to our right to stretch out the whole left side. Inhale brings you back up. And then again, over to the left to stretch the right side. One more time each side. Moving in that lateral plane, low belly in, strong feet, strong legs. We'll finish one more to our left side. The inhale brings the arms and the strap back up. Bring it behind you or wherever you feel like you're getting a really nice stretch for the front of the chest and the heart. The head should not be tense. My head is just floating on top of my shoulders. From all this yard work and gardening, feels so good. Try to take one more big breath in. And then on our exhale, bring that strap down. And let it go. Shake your hands out. Bring the shoulders into a little swimming action. We'll put our straps down for now.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you explain the bandhas of the pelvic floor and that second bandha you talked about?
Yeah, so I always mention bandhas in my class. So Mula Bandha means root lock. Mula Bandha is a contraction of the perineum muscles in the pelvic floor. Super healthy for both men and women. If you think about, you're familiar with Kegel exercises. So if you've ever practiced those they offer those for women after childbirth, but Kegels are actually designed for men and prostate health. You can also think about it as if you've ever had to give a urine sample and you have to stop the flow of your urine when you're filling up the cup. It's that action. Now that's a pretty forceful, strong action, and it's very challenging, but we should practice that, especially the older we get and our pelvic floor muscles start to weaken and our urinary tract and all that. Practicing those exercises really helps tighten and lift. There's an energetic level to the bandhas as well. So in our yogic practice, we're trying to bring this energy in and up the column of the spine, or Sushumna channel, one of the nadis. So that's the action. So if you're new to it, think about more of that real lifting, tightening, and control. I mean, there's whole books written on Mula Bandha. It's a very intense practice, but it's just, I like to bring it into my practice because it helps stabilize my low back. Now, Uddiyana Bandha, the navel lock, is about 2 fingers below the belly button. And that's, again, just on a physical level, I'm trying to draw those muscles in and up. So that helps stabilize your whole torso.
Okay. Yeah, now I understand. It was the second one I did.
And also, I've had a teacher once tell me, pretend like there's a quarter on the floor between your feet. This is a little odd. And you're trying to pick that quarter up with your pelvic floor muscles, right? So that size, and lift it in and up. And that contraction goes a little bit deeper up into the body. And when you start to feel Mula Bandha contract, you'll also start to feel those lower abdominals pull in and up.
Okay, so, thank you very much.
You are welcome. Good question. I use it all the time in my class, and it's really changed my practice, especially for my low back. And just working those muscles gives your mind something to focus on as well, too. So we'll continue to use those, and I want us now to go into Trikonasana, or triangle pose. So those of you that like to use a block or books and you have one, you may. If you have a chair that you've been using in your practice and you want to have a chair readily available to use as an assistant, that's an option. I actually like to do an unsupported triangle with my body because it does help keep my core a little bit more active. But I want you to do whatever works best for you. So you'll take a nice wide stance here on your mat. And I want you to start with your feet parallel to each other. Don't turn your toes out, point them straight forward. Extend your arms out from your shoulders. And if you flex the wrist, your wrist should land maybe just above the ankle, somewhere in that ballpark. We all have to figure out what works best for us. And then I want you to think about more of your triceps and your lats doing the work than your neck and shoulders. We just did all those nice stretches, so let them come down so the neck is nice and long. Pick up your right toes and turn them out. The knee should follow, so we need to externally rotate this right thigh as well. We're opening it up. The upper body stays nice and open. Little tilt in the pelvis here. Draw in through that pelvic floor and that low belly. Inhale, reach towards that foot. And on the exhale, you're just windmilling the arms. So again, I don't go very far in this pose because I really like to stay nice and solid for my low back. but I'm still getting a really nice stretch up the back of my right leg. Now the legs are straight, but not collapsed in the knee joint. There is an element of heart opening here, so you may draw your left shoulder slightly further back. The head should be an extension of your spine. The drishti, or your focal point, can be down to the toes, forward, or up to that top hand. And if you want to go into a little bit more of a traditional triangle pose, if I was able to bring my body further down, my upper half of my body would be running parallel to the floor, but because I don't go that far, you're just bringing your left arm beside the ear and then reaching it over. So depending, will all look quite different in our triangle pose, but legs straight and strong, super strong core, pick up your toes, activate those feet. On our inhale, we got to pull ourselves back up. So if you're resting your hand on a prop, you really need to re-engage your core and inhale, pull yourself up out of the pose. Turn your right toes forward. You should be back in neutral position. Pick up your left toes, turn your left toes out. The knee should follow, so I'm externally rotating through this left thigh bone. I'm trying to keep my hip and heart open as much as possible. Neck is relaxed. Little tip in the pelvis. Leg is straight but strong. Don't collapse that knee. Extend forward, strong core, and exhale, windmill to your triangle pose, Trikonasana. So ideally, the shoulders stay in alignment. Again, think about a rod running up the length of your spine out to the crown of the head. And the thing about using the bandhas in your practice as well too, it's a really great way to keep that mind focused. It is so easy to let them go and forget about them, but we're working everything. Adjust your drishti if you want, keep the breath flowing. Our inhale pulls us up out of the pose, so use the strength of your legs and your core to come back up. Turn your left toes back forward, neutral position. Pick up your right toes, turn them out. Exhale, lunge your right knee directly to the center of your foot. And when we take that lunge, there's no leaning in the upper half of the body. I'm just lowering my hips straight down towards the ground. Again, thinking of the side body stretch, Utthita Trikonasana. Bend your right elbow, resting the right forearm on top of the thigh. And then one more time, bring that left arm over the ear. So we're trying to form this nice straight line, the whole length of the left side of the body. Right thigh opening, spiraling the heart. You can try to gaze upwards. Both legs, super strong core. Now to come out of this pose, we're gonna do a little fluid movement. So on your exhale, drop the left arm down in front of you. Circle it back behind you and allow that arm to pull you up to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Flip the palms up, reverse your warrior. So back hand rests down, your front arm or your right arm reaches up and you can gaze up. Another big side stretch. Give me a big breath in. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the leg. And exhale, relax your arms, turn your right toes forward. I'm sliding, so I gotta readjust my feet. Take a quick break. We'll do all that on the other side. So feet start parallel to each other. Inhale, arms out nice and wide. Neutral position. Head floaty, don't tense your throat. Pick up your left toes, turn them out. On the exhale, you're lunging your knee directly to the center of that foot, but I'm dropping my upper body straight down towards the ground. Knee over ankle, trying to open up that left thigh. Bend your left elbow and reach your right arm overhead. And then really activate the legs. Mula Bandha, your root lock, those perineum muscles contracting and squeezing. Uddiyana Bandha. Little heart opening element if you want to try to gaze upwards. Take another big breath in. We'll try to flow out of the pose. So as you exhale, drop your right arm down. You're drawing a big circle. And then those fingertips reach back behind you to pull the body up into Virabhadrasana 2. Flip the palms up. Reverse your warrior. So we keep the lunge in the leg. Right arm down, left arm reaches up. Big stretch. You can gaze upwards. Big breath in. Exhale, arms back to warrior 2. Inhale, straightens the leg. Exhale, relax. Turn your toes forward. Good. So let's heel toe our feet in, or just step, step, step back together. And stand in Tadasana for a moment. Reaching your fingertips away from the ears, floating your head on your shoulders. Strong, active legs. Tailbones rooting down. Front body's lifting in and up. On the inhale, reach it up. Exhale, palms touch. Bring your hands back to the heart. Okay, so from here, if we've rearranged ourselves on a mat, actually I want to do one more standing pose. I want to do one more balance pose. So if you've rearranged yourself, we'll just figure out where we want to be. We'll practice Vrikshasana or tree pose. So bring the insides of the feet and legs together as close as possible, hands at our center. Chest lifting up into the hands. Bandhas really help with balance as well. So I'm zipping up everything, squeezing and lifting. Hover your right heel from the floor at the hip, open the right knee to the right. Toes down, or sole of the foot floats below or above your standing knee. Do not push your foot into your standing knee. It's below, or you may place it above. Relax your face, your throat, smile. So we'll take a different variation of Vrikshasana today, again to stretch the side body and challenge our balance a little bit. Taking Chin Mudra on both hands, index finger, thumbs touch, the other 3 fingers are extended. Flip your right palm up and place your right hand on top of your right thigh. Reach the left arm straight up to the ceiling. Now it's a little bit challenging. Draw in through that belly as you exhale, lean to your right. So our tree is blowing in the breeze here, good. On the inhale, oh, my tree is gonna fall. Try to reach back up. Both arms come back up. Good, hands to heart. The knee points forward, the thigh lifts. Extend the foot out for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down, hold. No fidgeting or fussing. We're training the body and the mind to stay centered. Squeeze and compact the hips. Lift up through your bandhas, left heel up. Open the knee up. Try to find symmetry from this side and your first side. Foot below or above the standing knee. Relax the face and the throat. Chin Mudra in the hands. Left palm up, resting gently on that thigh. Right arm reaches up. Long line through the whole right side of the body. I'm pushing through the earth with my right foot so that I can extend and grow like a tree upwards. Challenging our balancing, we're shifting our weight over to one side, so try to lean it over to your left, stretching out the right side. Notice the breath. And our inhale, we're going to try to pull ourselves back all the way up. Both arms reaching up, up, up. Woo, this side is hard. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Knee points forward, leg up, and then extend that foot out for 3, 2, 1. Release, hold, focus, and exhale, relax. All right, good job. So let's come back towards the front of our yoga mats. Right back into a nice active Tadasana. Strong legs, strong feet, bandhas lifting, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Big breath in, extended mountain. Reach your arms up. Gentle back bend if you like, just by gazing up to those thumbs. On the exhale, bend your knees slightly, hinge from your hips, and we'll swan dive back down to your forward fold, whatever that looks like for you. You can stop halfway or keep going. We'll take a breath or two, allow the body to stretch back out here in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, open the chest, squeeze your upper back. Exhale, we're coming down to the ground. Bend your knees, plant your hands. We're all gonna try to take a big step back, 1 foot at a time, and find plank pose. So I've been doing a plank a day. Hands as broad as your shoulders, squeeze the buttocks, tighten the core. Kneeling plank, totally fine. Don't collapse the upper body though, push the earth away from you. Too much for the wrists, come onto your forearms. Forearm plank. Wherever you want to be, smile and breathe. Crown of the head reaches forward. Super strong pose here. Really, really healthy to improve the strength of the core for our low backs. Keep breathing, keep smiling. Think happy thoughts. Big breath in. Big breath out. On our next inhale, we'll reach those hips back up and down, downward facing dog. Or your tabletop. That was just 30 seconds. And then let's all drop back down to the ground into our child's pose to come off our hands. More traditional child's pose, keep your knees touching. Arms slide down beside you, hands to the feet, and then the head bows down to the ground from there. Notice the breath. Maybe our heart rate went up a little bit from our plank, which is good to work our heart muscle. Just got really warm in here. Whew. That plank warmed me up. One more breath in your child's pose. And then hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin, and let's round it up one vertebra at a time. We'll shift our hips over to one side and bring our feet back forward. So to come down to the ground, you'll want some space behind you. We are going to come back down to our backs already. Walking yourself down to the ground, safest way to go. If you want more of this core stuff today, though, keep your feet planted on your mat. Open your knees wider than your hips. Reach your fingertips forward, and I'm doing a little rounding action here. And I try to slowly come down vertebra by vertebra, really pulling in through that low belly. And the shoulders come down, the head comes down. I reach my arms overhead and I stretch my legs back out into this long body stretch. Feet flexing, fingertips and toes spreading. Now with your arms overhead, I want you to hook your thumbs together so your hands will be in a butterfly type shape. And I want you to pretend like you're trying to pull your hands apart. And that should translate more into the shoulders. Switch the cross of your thumbs, hook them the other way, and pull and feel that splaying the shoulders across the back of the heart. Toes spread, big breath in. And as you exhale, release your thumbs and slide your elbows back down into your cactus arms so that your elbows are in line from your shoulders, backs of the hands flopping to the floor. Walk your feet in towards the sit bones and then open the feet as wide as your yoga mat. We're going into Windshield Wiper pose. So my knees and feet are as wide as my mat. On the exhale, drop your knees to the right-hand side. That will stretch the front of your left hip and your left low back will arch up off the ground. The inhale floats the knees up. And then you exhale, go to your left to stretch up your right side. Now the knees are not stacked. They're like the windshield wipers of a car. So they're moving the same direction. And the more you drive the one knee down to the ground, the more that will intensify the stretch for the top of the hip. Turn the head the opposite direction of your knees for a counter twist in the neck. Let's take it one more time to each side. So you'll drop your knees one more time to your right, one more time to your left. After you've balanced yourself up, both knees will come back up to center. Pull the low belly in to hug the knees back in. Give the back a massage side to side. Revisiting a couple of the poses that we started with today. I like to come back to things that we do at the beginning of our practice and just notice and feel them at the end of the practice. So let's re-extend our legs back up into our inversion waterfall pose. Point and flex the feet a couple times. Hold behind those thighs for a little bit more support. And then we'll open the legs back into that Supta Konasana, that wide angle stretch. And we're just observing, noticing maybe we feel a little different in those legs from when we first started. Roll the ankles, move the hands to the inside to deepen the stretch. Big breath in. The exhale lifts the legs back up to waterfall pose. This time, drop your knees nice and wide. Try to take a hold of your toes of your feet for happy baby. Giving your back a little rock and big hip stretch. Extend one leg out at a time from happy baby, side to side. And those of us that want to try to take Supta Konasana with the feet, stretching both legs out into your V stretch, holding on to your toes or your feet. If that doesn't work, no worries, just move back to the original pose you did. Relax the shoulders down, the low back should be grounded. Big breath in. The exhale brings the feet back together. Take your hands to the outsides of your knees and squeeze your knees back together. Reach over your shin bones as far as you can go. Find opposite elbows or wrists. Float the nose up to the knees. Give your body a nice big squeeze here, stretching out the whole back of the body. Take a big breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to come back down to the ground with those feet. So one more supine pose, and then we'll go into our relaxation. Thread the needle pose, just another stretch for our hips. I'm feeling a little need to do more hips. So extend your right leg straight up to the ceiling. The foot is flexed. Flex that right foot. Externally rotate the thigh. So your heel should turn in, toes should turn out slightly. Keeping your right foot flexed, cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Take your right hand to your inner right thigh to open the hip a little bit more. A tiny little sway side to side can help get into that. We're trying to stretch that outer right hip. Going a little further, float your left leg up towards you. Wrap your hands behind your left thigh. So you're holding on to your left thigh, right foot still flexed. Left leg can re-extend up to the ceiling. If you want to go deeper, bring both hands across your left shin bone. So now I'm pulling the left knee closer to my left shoulder. My right knee is still opening. I'm trying to stretch out my outer right hip. To release the pose, release your grip, left foot back down to the floor. Re-extend your right leg straight up to the ceiling. Drop your right foot flat to the floor. Little rock side to side as needed. Other side. Extend your left leg straight up to the ceiling. This left foot is actively flexed, so I'm pulling my toes to my shin bone. Externally rotate the leg, so the heel should turn in, toes should turn out. Keeping that foot flexed protects your left knee. Cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Left hand can gently press your left thigh bone away from you further. Little swaying action. To go deeper, pull your right leg in. Take both of your hands around your right thigh. So the left knee is still floating away from you. You're holding onto your right thigh. So trying to stretch out your left hip. Right leg can stretch up to the ceiling. Or take a grip across your right shin bone. So now I'm bending my right knee, trying to reach both hands on my right shin bone, drawing the right knee to my right shoulder, and that's going to stretch the left side a little bit more. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, release your grip, drop the right foot to the floor, re-extend the left leg straight up to the ceiling. We want to make sure everything goes back to neutral. Bring your left foot down to the ground, sway your knee side to side. All right, so time to get ourselves set up for our final Shavasana, relaxation. So if you need to roll over and gather up your goodies, you can roll to one side. Use your pillows underneath your knees. Support the back of your head. Use bolsters, blankets, whatever you want to bring into your Shavasana. Just get yourself super comfy. I would definitely recommend putting eye pillows or washcloths or your scarf across your eyes. Just creating that little bit of element of darkness can really help the mind and body relax a little bit more quickly. So that's a great option as well. And I'll give us a minute here to make sure we are getting comfy, whatever you want to do. So I will verbally guide us through a little bit of relaxation in our Shavasana, and then I'll give us several moments to enjoy some silence, and then it will bring us out of Shavasana with my singing bowl, and we'll finish class together then. So as we move into final Shavasana, loosen things up, make all your adjustments in the beginning, your hair, your clothing, your props, so that we can find stillness in the end. Find the very back center of the skull. Poof your cheeks, wiggle out the mouth, the tongue, and that jaw. Let the eyes sink down into the sockets. Let the tongue and lower jaw release to gravity. Relax the throat, the chest and the heart. The weight of the arms can just be rolling out beside the torso, palms up, fingertips curling up naturally. Notice the energy at the centers of the palms. And relax all the way down the back of the body. Relax the whole front of the body. Relax the belly, all of the abdominal muscles, all the internal organs. Soften the larger muscles of the hips, the hip sockets, the buttocks, the tops and backs of the thighs. And just like water, let that relaxation trickle all the way down the legs, through the knees, into the ankles, the feet and toes. Relax the whole body. Soften and relax the inside of the body. The breath is easy, quiet, and calm. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the peaceful breath. And for just another moment of our morning, we give ourselves permission to let go. Feel a sense of surrender and sink into Shavasana. So very slowly start to come back to the breath. Starting to gently breathe life back into the body. We can wake up our toes. Give your fingertips a little wiggle. Rock the head side to side. Stretching the arms back overhead to stretch the whole body back out on the ground. Spreading those fingers and toes, stretching out the right side, stretching out the left side. Take another big breath in. On the exhale, arms float down, walking feet in, and hugging our knees back into our body so that we can give our body a nice big loving hug, filling ourselves up with gratitude today for being able to still practice our yoga and spend some time together. And then right arm falls beside the head, pausing in sleeping baby pose on your right side. Head falls to the arm. Left hand falls to the floor in front of the heart. Maybe setting another positive intention or mantra for the rest of our day. And then keep the eyes soft or closed, turn the body towards the ground, stretch your top leg out to help the body come back up. We will revisit any comfortable seated pose. Sitting up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Let's take just a couple more nice big breaths together to finish our practice today. Arms will reach out beside us, palms up. Big breath in through the nose. Let's float those arms all the way up to the ceiling, and let's gather up everything we need for the rest of our day. Turn the palms back out. Big exhale, float the fingertips all the way back down to the ground as we let go of all that other junk that we don't need today. And one more big breath in and up together. Reach those arms up. This time, bring the palms to touch and exhale, lower the hands to the heart in Anjali Mudra. Humbly bow the head to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else that made it possible for us to practice yoga together today. If you'd like to join me in chanting the Om Shanti mantra, feel free to do so. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om, Tat Sat. And I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. We appreciate all of y'all's continued support, all of your patience, and making this happen. It's really awesome. And I know Jonathan and Adit are doing so much behind the scenes work, and Vicky and everyone else. So I hope that felt good for you guys. And I do have to teach another class at 11, but I will be back with you all Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Thank you so much. Beautiful class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a
Bye.
lovely
Happy Easter.
Bye.
Thank you, Joanne. Thanks.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Hi. Good to see you. Hey, is that Nancy?
Good to see you.